Hey chat, how are you? Sighs wistfully. So, these things are turning 100 years old. 100. Number one, Hershey's Mr. Goodbar. I like the peanuts. There's never enough peanuts. It should be opposite ratio. It should be like 80% peanut, 20% chocolate. That's what I'd be. That's what I'm into. Also turning 100 this year, honey-made graham crackers. My mouth is dry just thinking about it. And to polish off, to quench this parched throat, this thirst, also turning 100 this year, Corona beer. Yeah, that's right. Corona beer is 100. And then finally, lastly, Fat Boy ice cream sandwiches, which those are 100 years old. Those are new to me, anyways. So what had happened was my coworker's wife, her work threw a party, an event, a shindig, a whatever, a soiree, if you will. And so they rented a hotel room, like a suite, in a fancy schmancy hotel in downtown Sacramento. And then they had it catered by the hotel. And it was, so they were going to serve sandwiches. They were expecting 100 people. So booked the hotel room, $500 for an hour, which doesn't seem bad for an hour, but over a night, that's $12,000 a night. Seems a little pricey. And then hotel's like, hey, we can cater it too. We can serve some Sammys. And coworker's wife's job was like, okay, because that's easier than having to book another catering firm and having them arrive on time, if not, and then getting them up to the suite, the room. So it is a lot easier just to be like, oh yeah, hotel booked, and they can also do the catering. They said, how many people do you expect? They said 100, and they said, $65 a head for sandwiches. Okay? And so, and we saw the invoice, because we were just like, our minds were blown at this thing. 100 people, $65 a head, and then beverages, additional fees, administration fee, which, okay, gratuity, various surcharges and whatnot, inflation, turned out to be $8,200 per person. No, I'm sorry, $8,200 total. So $82 per person for a sandwich and a can of Coca-Cola. So we were like, ooh. But it turns out they had tons of leftovers, so he brought some in. He brought some sandwiches in. And he told us about this, and he was like, yeah, there'll probably be leftovers. I could bring them in tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And so all day and the next day until his wife brought him, we were just like, oh, can't wait for our $82 Sammy. Can't wait for our $82 Sammy. And they arrive, and everything was pre-made. Everything was pre-made and wrapped in plastic. $82 per sandwich. Well, $65 per sandwich, but let's throw in the beverage, a can of soda pop, and gratuity, $82 for a sandwich and a Coca-Cola. And so we get them, and like half the sandwiches had like a nice, they were made with a croissant for the bread, nice big fat croissant, sliced in the middle, and then various fixins in there. But then the other half of the sandwiches, like, do you remember in middle school and you would go to your friend's party and his parents catered it, the Subway cater, so it was like that huge 6-foot wooden plank board thing and just a bunch of little sandwiches cut up on it. That was the other half of the sandwiches. So it was like, okay, this was part of a bigger sandwich, and then they cut it into smaller pieces. This is quite the $82 Sammy. So we pull back the plastic, and we feast, we dine, and you know what? Mid. It was just like, okay, I guess this is a bread, and some stuff in the middle with very few condiments and not a lot of taste. I venture to say that Subway is better, because at Subway you can, well, first of all, you can get like 10 sandwiches for $82. And secondly, you can say, oh, I want olives on that. I want extra onions. Oh, no pickles, please. You get to customize it. You're the sandwich artist here in this proposition. But getting pre-made sandwiches, which were okay, if we were in that hotel suite, would have been fresh made, I guess. I mean, who knows? They could have made it at 2 a.m. of that day. But yeah, we got them and they were a day-ish old, but they were just like, I don't want to say they were terrible, but they were terrible. They were fine, but Subway, much better. A Subway footlong, $5 footlong is paramount to an $82 pre-made hotel sandwich. So one of the perks of my job is that they buy me a pair of shoes. Well, I get up to $300 in shoes, an allowance in shoes reimbursement per fiscal year, and I could buy, if I want to buy 5 pairs of $60 shoes, that's fine. If I want to buy one pair of $300 shoes, no one cares. It doesn't matter. I get reimbursed either way. But I got me a pair of Pumas, because I feel like Pumas make cool stuff, but Nike is just, it's unbelievably overpriced now. Like Air Maxes are $160, $170, and I'm like, I don't want to spend my $300 that way. So I got me a pair of Pumas for $110. Tried them on, they're fine. I wear size 11 if you care. But I left the tag on. The little tag with the Puma logo on one side and then like the UPC barcode on the other. I left the tag on because I'm taking it back to the 90s, okay? I'm taking it back to R&B singers and rappers in the 90s. They used to wear hats and shirts and pants with the tags still on. Why? Why not? Okay, Boys II Men, ABC, BBD, the East Coast family. I know Boys II Men are still raking in the big bucks touring. Another Bad Creation, I'm still waiting on their reunion right after B2K. Actually, B2K is currently reuniting. And then Belle Biv DeVoe, they're still doing their thing, but they're not bringing in the big bucks like Boys II Men. But back in the day, yeah, we used to keep the tags on to emulate, to impersonate our favorite 90s R&B / rapper, R&B Lothario / rap artist, because it was a sign that what you had on was new. So you would step out the foot action, not Foot Locker. Okay, that's for basic Joe Schmoes. Foot Action is where I bought the Been Around the World remix with Notorious B.I.G., Puff Daddy, and M.A. $E. Yeah, they were the exclusive seller of that CD EP. There were just a couple songs on it. The Been Around the World remix was one of them, and I love that remix. The original is good. Yeah, you sample some David Bowie. Okay, I get it. But the remix, it was hot. Hot fire. Fire, as the kids say. My crew buys Cristal just so we can spit it. That was when Puff Daddy was he was a producer and sort of rapper. But we didn't know any better, kids, okay? We didn't have TikTok. We didn't have X, formerly known as Twitter. We didn't cancel celebrities back in the day. We didn't know any better. Sorry. I spent that $5.99 at Foot Action in 1991. But we would step out the dough of the Foot Action at North County Fair, and whatever we bought, we would leave the tag on. So it would be perceived as new, or new, as Nicki Minaj says. And it was a sign that what you had on was the freshest possible. FTD, fresh to death. And that was just how we communicated, how we broadcast that our new hat or shirt or shorts or sneakers were fresh out the footaction oven. And that was what we did. And then we would walk around that day with our tag hanging out, Nike tag hanging. And then by the end of the day, I'm going to throw this shirt away. I'm going to throw this shirt away into the trash before I go to bed, because I'm so wealthy. I wear things once and then right into the trash. I removed my subwoofer. I had a 12-inch Sherwin-Vega subwoofer in my trunk. Stopped working, and I still hadn't removed it. It was almost a year that it's been not working. It takes up a ton of freaking room in my Kia Optima trunk, 2013 blue, if you were curious. But I just kept it there because it was like that shirt you don't want to throw away. Like, I'll fit into that shirt one day, so I'm gonna keep it in the back of the closet so I don't look at it too much and I don't remind myself of what I used to be. But I'm going to hold on to it because there's hope. There's hope. So I did the same thing with my subwoofer, and I just kept it in there. But this weekend, I removed it. It was quite the adult moment, the maturity that I was just displaying, that I had on view for everyone to insult me. I used to have beat, okay? I didn't have 12 15-inch subwoofers and 10 amps to power them, but I had some beat, and maybe like a football field away you could hear me coming. I used to have that, and I used to matter. I would pull up to the club bumping Crisscross Jump, the fact that Jermaine Dupri made an entire career out of bow, 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 bow. Oh yeah, it also had I used to pull up to the club, or as they say in Spanish, la discoteca, bumping Crisscross Jump, or Hungry Eyes from the Dirty Dancing soundtrack, or Genesis In Too Deep, and people would look over and be like, who's that hot guy in that lowered Honda Civic? But now, I don't have that. You know what's next? A minivan. A minivan is what's next, people. Oh, I'm crumbling. I'm literally shaking. So I had I got the low tire pressure warning light on my dashboard the other day. And so, not a big deal. I head over to Les Schwab, or as Carolyn pronounces it, Les Schwab. And you just pull up to one of the bays. Usually a gentleman, although I saw a gal there last time. I was like, oh. But usually a dude comes up, hey, how can we help you? I got the low tire pressure. Okay. They all 4 of your tires. Oh, you need to replace that back one on the left. Okay, thank you. But then I'm telling my coworker, Mr. Powell, about this encounter I had, this issue I had. And he said, you can do that at the Arco. You just got to pay a quarter. You can do it yourself. And I'm like, I don't have a gauge, and I don't have a quarter. And so next day, Mr. Powell shows up with a tire inflator. And I was like, okay. He got it from Temu for $20. And so I was like, oh, this is quite helpful. And he said, yeah, you turn it to whatever setting. It can do car, it can do basketball, motorcycle, and bicicleta. That's bicycle in Spanish. And then you just hook it up to the valve, select whatever you want, and then press this button, and it goes, and voila, your tire is inflated. So I go to my car this weekend, and I was like, okay, I don't really know what I'm doing. This inflator is from Temu, and I could die, or I could ruin my tire, or both. I could die and ruin my tire. But what the hell? What the hell else am I doing with my one precious fleeting life? Let's give it a go. So I hook it up, and my tire was at 31, should be at 35. Oh, by the way, your tire PSI is located on the inside, right where you sit, on the inside of your door. There's a little sheet, little piece of white paper or plastic, and it has what each tire should be inflated to. Mine's 35. I was at 31, so I hook it up and I hit the button. It's like, and it's inflated. It takes a while. It takes 45 seconds to a minute, and but I could see the tire getting like bigger, more bulbous, and raising higher off the ground. More air pumping in there, and I was like, this might explode in my face, but it might not explode in my face. And I get up to 35, and lo and behold, Temu machine automatically stops, and I was like, alrighty, well, we're in business. So I ran around to all my tires. They were all a little low. Lil Low, that's my new rapper name, LIL apostrophe space LO. They were all a little low, but I did it all by myself. And I noticed that when I removed the valve, some air gets out. I was like, tss. But so I started doing 35.5 on the back, and then I did 34.5 up front because in high school, my Filipino friends who were really into cars, they always said your front tires should be a little lower. And I was like, so, I mean, that knowledge from 1994 serves me well. And it worked. I didn't die. And my tires are nice now. So I'll do that every weekend. And then I did Carolyn's. I was like, honey, do you want me to check your tires? And she was like, Lolo, do you know what you're doing? And I said, no, I don't. But that's never stopped me before. Okay, well, I'm done. Take care. Brush your hair. Peace out. I'm Audi 5000 G Money. See ya. Late.